We've been spending a lot of time on social media these last couple weeks. Let's get back to earth. Do you want to up your relationship and influence game without whining and dining politicians? Do you want the politician to come to you instead of you tracking them down? Well, that means it's time to plan an event. But what type of event? How do I do this? You know what? If you stick around, you might just find out. Hi, everyone. I'm David Smith, and I run Inthrive Advocacy Solutions, your solution for lobbying, advocacy, and strategic planning. Before launching this firm, I was leading advocates in Virginia, and we brought real changes to our criminal justice system. I also worked for a senior legislator in the House of Delegates, where I ran her commerce and energy docket. Now, I'm bringing what I've learned through Mentors and Hard Knocks to you. Welcome to Better Advocacy in 10 minutes or less. This is a series of videos helping you become a better advocate so you can turn your passion into policy. Today, we're talking about creating events that will attract politicians. All right, let's hop right into it. Here's what we're going to cover: why you want politicians or other elected officials to attend, the two types of events you might be planning, how to invite politicians, and last, who you should invite. Okay. So, why do you want to host an event that politicians would attend? Okay, first of all, it increases your name recognition. People, the press, and the general public pay more attention to events that have elected officials at them. When you have an elected official at one of your events, it lends credibility to your organization and policy asks. It also helps you build positive relationships with legislators and their staff. One thing I truly didn't understand until after working for elected officials was how important relationships are. Even the best policy idea is going to struggle if you don't have relationships with legislators or their staff. Working on an event that gets the elected positive media coverage is a great way to strengthen your relationship so you're more likely to get support in the future. Events also give you a chance to introduce your policy asks in a relaxed space. Okay, maybe not that relaxed, but you get the idea. You're not making the hard sell here. You're using the event to help the elected understand the need for your policy ask. Instead of a one pager or a meeting, both of which can be very, very formal out of necessity, this is an event where the elected can see the community that needs your policy enacted and begin to understand the greater impact of those words on paper. Increasing your name recognition and building positive relationships with politicians and their staff are the why. Now, let's talk about the two types of events: politician focused and cause focused. Politician focused events are ones where the elected official is a key part of the event. This could be things like town halls or candidate forums. The elected official is the headliner, and you're giving them an opportunity to speak. The topic should be related to your policy ask and also be framed in a way that will draw attention. I recently helped plan a criminal justice town hall in a deep red part of Virginia. Instead of labeling it criminal justice, we called it "How Do I Keep My Kids Out of Jail?" Drug addiction leading to incarceration is a huge problem in the rural parts of Virginia. We had media, elected, and candidates all show up. The elected and candidates were able to speak about the topic in a way that was authentic to them, while my client was able to raise awareness about the collateral damage of hard on drug policies. Now, a cause focused event is an event that focuses on, wait for it, focuses on a cause. Yes, the cause is your passion that you're turning into policy. Here, the cause is the main attraction, and the politician is in a supporting role. It's more of a photo op for them, where they might say a few words and mingle with the crowd. Your main focus is on the other aspects of the event, and the politician is there as a member of the supporting cast. The first event I organized was a forum on solitary confinement, where the main purpose was to introduce the public to this issue in our prisons. Politicians were invited, and several showed up, and they were in the audience but didn't participate. We did introduce them, but they didn't have any prepared remarks, nor were they in the program. All right. Now that you've decided between an elected official or cause focused event, let's look at how you get an elected official to show up at your event. So, how do you do this? How do you go about getting a politician to show up at your event? You ask. Yes, it's as simple as that. Now, depending on the size of their staff, there may be a specific person you ask, but all you need to do is just put in the request. But how do you do that in the most effective way? For legislator focused events, you want to include them in the scheduling process as early as possible. Present your idea and several dates, or ask them for their availability. If the legislator is a key part of your event, you want to include them in the planning. You want to make sure that they can attend. For cause focused events, where the legislator is not the key person but a supporting part of the event, you want to approach them as soon as possible. When you're still in the planning stages, see if you can find out what lead time they need for an event. Now, as a rule of thumb, the more constituents someone has, the more lead time is needed. For example, in Virginia, each House member has around 66,000 constituents. Each Senate district, well, that senator has 160,000 constituents. And each U.S. House member has about 780,000 constituents. Obviously, the more constituents they have, the more requests they get, and the sooner you want to get on their calendar. All right. So, when you make your ask, you want to share what the benefit is to the legislator. Now, not that type of benefit. You're not trying to buy them off. You want to show them why participating in your event is good for their brand, their reelection. You'll want to say how many folks you expect to attend, who else will be there, other public figures, groups, and if you're inviting media. And of course, you want them to know the purpose of your event. And most importantly, you'll want to explain why you want them there. Are you inviting them to attend as a member of the public? Do you want them to give brief welcome remarks? Do you want them to be part of a panel discussion or be a keynote speaker? By providing this information, the elected and their staff will have a full understanding of what you want, what your event offers them, and then they'll be able to make a decision as to whether they'll participate or not. But who are you inviting, and who do you expect to attend? Now, let's be realistic here. If your event is issue focused on a partisan issue, don't expect the other side to show up. You won't get many Democrats showing up at a gun rights event, and you won't get many Republicans showing up at an abortion rights event. Also, think about your strategic plan. Where are you working to get legislation passed? If it's a state issue, don't spend a lot of effort getting members of Congress to attend. If one party is in control of your state legislature, it's important to have members of the majority attend. Now, you don't neglect the minority members either, though. If you're working to make your policy ask nonpartisan, always, always, always invite folks from across the political spectrum. This is a courtesy. Plus, you never know when the political winds might shift. Finally, think about your event. You want electeds that fit the size of your event. If your neighborhood or precinct sized event has the governor show up, the governor is likely to steal the show. But if your event is focused at a larger statewide or at least regional audience, then a statewide politician like the governor makes perfect sense. All right, there you have it. All you need to know about how to invite public officials to your event. I know it can seem overwhelming if you've never done it before, but it's worth the time, effort, and sometimes disappointment when they say no. I thank you so much for watching this short training on creating events for public officials. Like and subscribe to the Inthrive Advocacy channel to get notifications of new videos. Be sure to check back every Friday for a new Better Advocacy in 10 minutes or less video.